Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm here to weigh in on this issue, which I found, I want to say interesting, but really what I mean by that is that a lot of interesting conversations are going to come of it. It's a very racy issue, no pun intended, because it is very racial. Uh, there were these, a white couple was killed by the words that the news corporation has used were brutally killed by five black men, and apparently, like, it was, according to lots of people, they tried to bury the story, and it didn't really work out. Bloggers caught on to it. Conservative blogs, interestingly, started going around and saying that they were trying to bury the evidence because they were white people getting killed by black people. And hey, maybe actually the news corporations did bury the story, which is like on one part that's fucked up, and on the other side, there's lots of really awful stories that don't get publicized that really should, but they just don't because they just don't have the shock value uh, amongst the majority of Americans to get people reading the story. And mind you, I feel like a real jackass defending the media because I really don't like the media all that much at all. They really do piss me off. Unless you count Arrested Development as the media, but news coverage and all that shit. But anyway, this whole issue, it brings me to actually side with people that I really don't like, white supremacists, who are the main people that are publicizing this story. Which just made me realize that I might be viewed as a white supremacist since I'm publicizing this story. Please don't. Liberal white supremacist. Oh, oh God. Sadly, I've discovered that I actually side with them on several points, including hate crimes. See, I guess there are certain sociopaths or whatnot that might kill out of love, or I guess through some really weird self-delusion you could see people dying in Iraq as killing for love because they're killing people to make the country better. But in any case, generally I think that a crime is done out of hate, or at least a dislike, or at the very least, like, not giving a shit. Because if I care for, say, my parents, that care doesn't take me to kill them. I don't think I'm explaining this too well, but I'm saying that hate crime is one of the greatest oxymorons of modern society, in that, I mean, people kill each other. Black on black crime is tremendous in the States. Oh my goodness. Like, there was the story about one black dude killed another black dude over a game of fantasy football on their Xbox. Holy shit, he just pulled out a 9 and killed the other dude. I mean, that's some hate. That's some hate. I don't think that you can really determine whether someone kills out of hatred for a race. But on this specific story, I'm wondering to myself, like, I'm thinking to myself, there were a lot of terrible things that happened around the way when I was living in Reading. Some of them were crime related, like the girl that rotted under her aunt's porch because she was going to snitch on the family for distributing coke. And then ones that weren't so crime related, like that asshole who worked for the college. In the winter, this car came down, and he was actually trying to push his car out of the ice, and it slid back and decapitated him. I thought that was actually sort of funny because I knew him and he was such a jackass. Very drunk at the time. I'm not doing much of a job of building up my moral credibility at this point, am I? And anyway, these stories got reported in the Reading Eagle. And who reads the Reading Eagle? I mean, most of the people in Reading don't even read the newspaper anyway. None of them really got taken to any bigger newspaper or media outlets or anything. So, I don't see why everybody's making an uproar. In fact, you know what? I think it's ironic because they're complaining about media attention, like being disproportionate, but their attention is also disproportionate because they're only paying attention when it's some black guys killing people. That sounds pretty bad when you say it out loud, doesn't it? I mean, damn. Anyway, it all comes down to a sort of South Park style story of both sides are wrong and everything's ridiculous and there's not really any point to taking a partisan side on the issue at all. My cousin would love me for saying this. But, yeah, you too. But, I guess there's just not really anything to do about it. You know, one thing I would love to see would be just people not thinking in terms of race. People thinking in terms of, like, just people, you know? There's bad people and there's good people. Not some black people that killed people and some white people that got killed by them. Instead, it's just some assholes who went and killed some people and some people who got killed. I don't think that thinking in terms of race helps anybody at all, but on the other hand, I don't think that the world is ready to think in terms of just everybody being equal. There's always going to be some asshole who's still like, fuck those blacks. I don't say that anymore. And like, some crotchety old son of a bitch is going to keep on with that, and he probably won't even do it because he actually feels that way. He'll probably just do it because it gets him attention. I've known them. And, there's nothing we can really do about that except not thinking so in terms of that. We can't protect people just because they're from this race, and we can't attack people just because they're from this race. If you try to compensate for hatred coming from one direction, you're just going to create some more hatred coming from the other direction. And that's how I weigh in on this issue.